She sits across from you, smiling politely, sipping her drink, engaging in the same kind of conversation she's had 1,000 times before with 1,000 men who thought they were different. But deep down, she's bored. Not because you're not good looking, not because you're not interesting, not even because you're doing anything wrong, but because you're doing what every other man does, trying to impress her, trying to be charming, trying to be the guy she should want. But here's the uncomfortable truth. Women don't remember the guy who says what she expects. They remember the one who doesn't try to be remembered at all, but leaves a mark anyway. Now imagine this. She's lying in bed hours after the conversation ended. The city has gone quiet. Her friends have stopped texting, her phone is finally down, but her mind, it's still spinning with you. Not because you told a wild story, not because you made her laugh, but because you asked her a single question that no one in her entire life ever bothered to ask. And that one question, it didn't flatter her, it didn't challenge her, it unlocked her. It made her pause, it made her curious. It made her feel like you saw something in her that even she had buried under layers of routine small talk and carefully rehearsed charm. She's been complimented, she's been admired. But what she's rarely been is understood, because the modern woman lives in a world that's obsessed with her appearance, but blind to her essence. But you asked her something that made her go quiet for just a moment. You interrupted the script. You shattered the pattern, and now, long after you're gone, she's wondering, why did he ask me that? What did he mean by it? What is it about him that feels different? That one question doesn't just plant a seed of attraction. It creates a psychological loop, a mystery who she's compelled to solve. And once her mind starts circling that question, she can't help but circle back to you. This isn't manipulation. This isn't trickery. This is emotional precision. It's the quiet art of connection, of making her feel deeply seen, even in a world where everyone's just looking. It's what separates boys from men, pick-up lines from power, and temporary attention from permanent intrigue. Today, I'm going to reveal that question. But more than that, I'm going to show you why it works, the psychology behind it, the way it bypasses her defenses, the reason it creates attraction that lingers far beyond the moment. So if you're tired of being forgettable, if you want to become the man she thinks about when she's lying in bed at night wondering why you feel different, stay with me, because the most unforgettable thing you'll ever say to a woman won't be a compliment. It won't be a joke. It won't be a story. It'll be a question. And once you learn how to ask it the right way, you won't just capture her attention, you'll haunt it. Let's begin. Most men never realize this. But a woman's mind is her most powerful erogenous zone. You can dress well, speak with confidence, even have that rugged jawline and a square frame. But if you can't pierce her thoughts, you'll never leave a lasting impact, because attraction isn't just about how you look. It's about how you make her feel about herself when she's around you, and more importantly, how she keeps feeling about you long after you're gone. See, every woman, no matter how confident or beautiful, carries a hidden world inside her. A world built on unspoken dreams, unanswered questions, emotional wounds, and untold desires. She may laugh, she may flirt, she may even seem open, but most of what's real about her stays locked up. Not because she's hiding, but because most men never ask the kind of question that opens the door. They stay on the surface, they talk about work, the weather, her hobbies, her weekend plans. Safe, polite, ordinary. The kind of conversation that's forgotten the moment it ends, but the moment you say something that touches her identity, the moment you ask something that stirs her soul. Even just slightly, that's when you stop being just another guy. You become a disruption in her routine, a mystery in a world full of a mental echo she can't silence. You see, women aren't just waiting for chemistry. They're waiting to feel something rare, a moment of being seen, truly seen, without filters, without pretense, without performance. And the man who creates that moment doesn't need to brag, he doesn't need to chase, he doesn't need to impress, because once you trigger her inner world, her outer world starts chasing you. So the real question is, how do you get there? How do you cross that invisible line between just a nice guy and someone she thinks about at 2 a.m.? It's not with rehearsed lines, not with artificial confidence, and definitely not by pretending to be someone you're not. It's by asking a question so strikingly human, so quietly profound that it short-circuits her defenses and drops her into something she wasn't expecting: honesty. And when she answers it, even just partially, she forms a connection with you she can't fully explain, because it didn't come from logic, it didn't come from lust. It came from somewhere deeper. You became the man who made her feel understood, and that feeling, it doesn't fade. So what is that question? What's the phrase that opens her heart and lingers in her mind? Get ready, because once you learn it, you'll never look at conversations the same way again. And neither will she. Let's reveal it, in a world where attention spans are shrinking and conversations have become painfully shallow, where men ask, "What's your snap?" before they ask, "What moves your soul?" Standing out has become rare, meaningful connection, almost extinct. Most men don't understand this, but every time a woman talks to a man, she's subconsciously filtering. Is this man emotionally safe, or just another performance artist in disguise? She's heard it all: the flattery, the compliments about her smile, the "you up" texts wrapped in fake charm. And on the surface, she might laugh, she might entertain, she might even go along with the conversation, but deep down she's starving for substance. Now, here's the truth most guys miss, and it's why this single question is so devastatingly effective. It signals emotional intelligence. And emotional intelligence to a woman is pure gold. Why? Because it tells her you're not just listening to respond, you're listening to understand. It shows her you're not just interested in how she looks, but in how she feels, how she thinks, and what shaped her into who she is. You see, the moment you ask a question like, "What's one moment in your life when you felt truly alive?" like everything just clicked and nothing else mattered. You're doing something 99% of men never do. You're giving her permission to reflect, to pause, to remember who she was before she was told to be less emotional, smile more, or stop overthinking. That question activates a part of her that's been dormant. She starts searching her memory. She's no longer in small talk mode, she's diving into her soul. She starts recalling a version of herself that maybe even she forgot, a version that danced in the rain, felt wonder in the little things, laughed until her stomach hurt, or cried on the edge of a breakthrough. And guess what? She associates that emotional rediscovery with you. Not because you gave her answers, not because you flexed, but because you asked a question. No one else had the depth or courage to ask. That's what sets you apart, because most men talk to women, trying to get something. You're the rare one who gives her a space to be something. That's why this works. It speaks directly to a woman's core. Need something. Even she may not fully understand or articulate. To be seen without judgment. To be heard without interruption. To be felt without needing to explain herself. That one question says, "I'm not here to impress you, I'm here to understand you." And that's magnetic, because women aren't drawn to the loudest man in the room. They're drawn to the man who makes them feel most connected to themselves. This question bypasses all her filters. It doesn't just stimulate her thoughts, it awakens her feelings. And in a world full of empty conversations, feeling something real is revolutionary. She'll leave that conversation not thinking about your clothes, your car, or your status, but about how you made her feel something deep, how you made her remember herself. That's why she'll think about you all night, because while the rest made her feel pretty, you made her feel human, and in doing that, you've already created a bond stronger than attraction. You've created emotional gravity. Let's stop pretending that Attraction is all about how you look, how much money you flash, or how charming your words are. That's surface level, that's easy, that's what every other guy is doing. And guess what? She's bored. Not because she's hard to impress, but because she's evolved. She craves something deeper. And if you want to stand out in a woman's mind, to invade her thoughts, to echo in her emotions long after the conversation ends, then you must do what 99.9% of men never dare to do. You ask a question that pierces her emotional armor, not one that makes her flinch, but one that makes her feel, now here's the question, the one that keeps her thinking about you when she's lying in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering why she can't get that conversation out of her head. What's one memory that shaped you that no one else knows about, but you think about more than you'd ever admit? Let that sink in. This isn't small talk. This isn't what's your favourite movie. This is not the predictable dating app. Nonsense. This is a soul excavation. And when you say this, don't say it like a script. You don't rush it. You don't ask it. Mid-scroll, mid-drink, mid-distraction, you pause, look at her. Not with intensity, but with stillness. You let the silence breathe around the question. You let her feel that you're not playing games. You're inviting her into emotional intimacy, not seduction, but connection. And here's what happens. She freezes, not in fear, but in realization. No one's ever asked her that. Not her ex, not the guy chasing her in her DMS, not even her friends. You just bypassed years of walls with one question, because that question does three things instantly. It gives her permission to be vulnerable. Most women are dying to open up, but they've been judged, dismissed, or misunderstood so often that they stop trying this question. Signals safety, emotional space to be real without performance. It tells her you're not here for her image. You're here for her truth. That's rare. That's sacred. She'll feel it in her chest, not just her mind. It binds the moment to you, whatever she shares, even if it's quiet, even if she hesitates, will now be forever tied to your presence. You become the trigger for emotional authenticity. And this is key. Women don't just fall for your face or your words. They fall for how they feel around you. They fall for the inner world. You unlock in them. You're not impressing her. You're awakening her. You become the man who asked the question that made her pause her whole life just to answer. You become the man who cared enough to go beyond the smile, beyond the flirtation, beyond the facade. You don't touch her body. You touch her memory, her emotion, her story. And when you can do that, she will think about you at 3:14 a.m. She will think about what else she could tell you. She will wonder, how did he know to ask that? Because deep down, every woman wants to be known without having to explain herself. That's what this question does. It unlocks something far more powerful than attraction. It creates emotional imprinting. And when you deliver that question the stoic way, calm, grounded, with no need to impress, only to understand, you're not just a man in her life, you're the moment she never saw coming and can't forget how to use it. The stoic way, now that you know the question, the one that slices through surface level attraction and creates real psychological gravity. It's time to learn how to deliver it, and I mean the right way, because here's the truth. Even the most powerful words will fall flat if they come from a place of insecurity or from a man who's trying to force a connection that's not stoic, that's needy. So how do you use this question, the stoic way? You don't just say the words, you become the frame that gives those words meaning. Let's break it down, step by step, like a master craftsman, shaping a blade slowly, deliberately, and without wasted motion. 1. Your presence must be still, not seeking before you say a word. Your energy already speaks. A stoic man doesn't rush to feel silence. He doesn't fidget. He doesn't chase reactions. He's grounded like a mountain in a storm. So before you even ask this question, ground yourself. Breathe deep. Lock into the moment. Let her feel that you're not trying to get anything from her. You're not here for validation. You're here for truth. when she feels that her walls will begin to dissolve, not because of your charm, but because of your certainty. 2. Use silence like a weapon after you ask. Don't explain it. Don't laugh nervously. Don't try to make her comfortable by filling in the blanks. Just ask. What's one memory that shaped you that no one else knows about, but you think about more than you'd ever admit? Then shut up. Let the silence work in your favour. Let her thoughts race. Let her heart catch up to the question. You see, women are used to men rushing in to control the moment, to lead the conversation. But a man who can hold silence with confidence, that's power. She'll feel that you're not just waiting for a reply. You're honouring her space to go inward, and that creates something primal. Trust. 3. Receive her answer with stillness and curiosity. If she opens up even a little, don't interrupt it with ego. Don't say, "Oh wow, that reminds me of this thing I went through." No, that moment is not about you. Let it be about her. Receive her words, like she just handed you a piece of her soul. Hold it gently with reverence, like something rare, because it isn't. Slowly make eye contact. Let her speak in full, even if it takes time. This is where she feels seen, not for her looks, not for her performance, but for who she is beneath the surface. That is unforgettable. 4. Don't chase the outcome. Stay detached, yet deeply present. You are not trying to make her fall for you in that moment. You're simply offering depth in a world that's gone shallow. And whether she dives in or not, you remain unshaken. This is the grandma's minds. You care, but you don't cling. You open space, but you don't push. You invite, but you don't chase. And because of that, she feels something rare around you. A man who doesn't perform. A man who doesn't pretend. A man who simply is. And that kind of presence stays with her long after the words are gone. You don't have to repeat yourself. You don't have to follow up. She'll follow the feeling, because here's the hidden truth. Women remember how you made them feel when they shared something sacred, that memory will attach itself to you. You just became a mental and emotional imprint, all through one question used with Stoic: stillness, masculine presence, and complete emotional detachment from outcome. You've already learned the question that leaves an imprint. But here's what most men don't realize. Attraction gets her attention. Connection makes her stay. And if you want to spark a connection so deep, it lingers in her heart long after you're gone. You need a variation that goes beneath desire, that taps into the part of her that's rarely seen, even by her closest friends. This isn't about impressing her. This is about opening a door to the part of her that's starved to be understood. So here it is, your bonus Stoic variation. When did you feel most alive? But no one around you seemed to notice. Let that sit. This question isn't cute. It isn't light. It slices through the fluff and makes her pause. Hard. Why? Because it speaks to something hidden inside. Every woman, especially high-value intelligent women who've learned to smile through their own invisibility, that moment where she was radiant, wild, on fire inside, but no one truly saw her. Not her parents, not her ex, not her friends, just her carrying a moment that meant the world. While the world looked away, you become the first person to ask the first man to see her pass the performance. And when she answers, if she does treat her words like scripture, look at her like you just watched her walk through fire and come out glowing, not with pity, not with sympathy, but with respect. Because here's the magic: the moment she feels seen in her invisibility, you become unforgettable. You didn't ask her about her favourite colour. You didn't compliment her appearance. You asked her to step into her own story, and when she did, you stood still like a mountain and listened. That's masculine depth. That's what a Stoic man offers. Not noise, not validation, but sacred space. Use this variation with intention. Don't waste it. Don't throw it out in a casual setting where it won't be honoured. Instead, let the moment arrive naturally. Maybe it's late at night. Maybe you're walking under city lights or sitting with a drink between you. You'll feel when the door is open, and when you do ask it without fear, hold space without flinching. Because if she's the right woman, this one question will ignite a kind of emotional intimacy she's never felt before, and in that stillness you'll become the man she can't forget. So now you have it one question, so deceptively simple, yet powerful enough to echo in her mind, long after the conversation ends. What's something you felt deeply, but no one else noticed, a gateway to her inner world, a mirror held up to her soul, not to fix her, not to flatter her, but to see her as she truly is. You see, most men chase attention. High value men command emotion, and the rarest kind, the stoic, knows this truth. When you stop trying to be impressive and start being present, you become unforgettable, because women aren't starving for perfection, they're starving for presence. They're exhausted by shallow games, tired of being admired from a distance, but never truly understood. And the moment you give her space to reveal the parts of her that the world taught her to hide, you separate yourself from every other man she's ever met. She won't remember what you wore. She won't replay your compliments, but she'll never forget how safe she felt when she was around you. She'll crave it in the silence. She'll search for it in others and come up empty because you weren't trying to win her. You were giving her something more rare. Freedom to be real, to be seen, to be felt. That is power. If this message resonated with something deep in you, then understand this. It's not about the question. It's about the man who asks it. A man of stillness, a man of strength, a man of inner mastery, not outer noise. If you want to continue evolving into that man, if you want more tools, insights, and psychological strategies to help you lead, attract, and live with grounded masculine power, then this is just the beginning. Subscribe to Grandma's Minds right now. Turn on notifications, because every week I break down how to become the man women respect, desire, and never forget, not by pretending, but by remembering who you truly are. Stay grounded, stay sharp, and remember, the quietest men often speak the loudest without raising their voice. I'll see you in the next one. Grandma's Minds.